Hi guys, Aerithia here and welcome back to Planet Coaster. Today I'll be working on a radius. I wanted to make something that wouldn't be too big, but at the same time it kind of had to be something that stood out a bit at the end of a main street. I wanted to do something with a rounded glass roof, and that was about the only thing I knew at the point that I started building this. This took a few tries. Everything just seemed a little bit too bulky because I wanted the glass roof to be the main focus. It was just hard to figure out what to put underneath it. I must say, I struggled way more than I expected with the modern style and the contemporary style for this main street. I'm kind of glad that I'm as good as done. It's a lot of fun, but it's just really hard to work outside of the theme, so I'm just really ready to get started on another section. The last thing I might do in this style though is the transport station, but that is probably something for way later when I know the layout for the themed areas. We can always go back to that, but I just wanted to leave a space for it if I decided that I want a transport ride to transport you all over the park. Here I made these two little buildings sort of like you would buy your tickets here. That is not really necessary for this game, of course, so we'll just have to pretend. But I wanted the glass roof to hang on these beams somewhat above these buildings to make it appear a little bit taller and at the same time keep the building quite small. It's more like a gate. I had to try out a few different things, but I decided it would probably be best to have no predetermined shape. I tried to make one with the rounded roof moldings, but I used a straight one in the end, and now I'm just figuring out how I want to do this. But yeah, this way I had complete freedom over the shape of the glass overhang that I will make out of these small glass windows like you're seeing here. The reason I wanted to create a border around it first so I can put the windows between it is because these windows are pretty small and thin, so I will make the shape and like I'm doing here, and then I will just stack a few layers on top of each other, and that will make it look so much better in comparison to the rest of the build. It's all pretty minimalistic, which can be so hard for me because I love to add a lot of detail, but that was not what I was going for, and so I had to stop myself from adding a lot of random things. I feel like I'm getting a bit better with the free rotation. It's because I haven't used it that much. Normally I kind of like to stick with the 15 degrees. I guess a lot of the time I just think, that's good enough. But for this I wanted to get a cool and pretty smooth rounded roof, so free rotation works a lot better for that, of course. And I'm so happy with copy and paste. Constantly when I use it, I'm just so happy with the copy and paste. It would be such a pain to get this exactly the same on the other side. So really happy with how it looks, definitely now that they are stacked up. Right here I'm figuring out what I want to do in these open spots, and for now I will place these down. I will change that a little bit later though, because I wanted to make something to hang a sign on, and the roof wouldn't be really suited for that, I guess. Now just making some more of these modern doors, and I'm so happy with these primitives. It's kind of like I didn't expect much of it, but it comes in handy so many times. So it's so easy to change a door like this. They won't stay on that side though, because the front of the building just looks a little bit too empty, even for a minimalistic style, so I will move them to the front. Yeah, and this is what I'm going to use to hang the sign on, so I'm just creating some fun shapes in here, and this just really fits well with the style of the radius, and that is something that I was looking for. Also feel like the roof is a little bit better supported like this than just on top of these 4 beams. So I think this looks a lot better, and now we're just gonna add the sign. I didn't want to use the standard one because it's just way too small for this big ass ride. So I'm just creating my own, and I was just trying out a few different things. I cut most of it out because that can just be a long process of me being indecisive and a perfectionist. You won't have to deal with that too much, of course, because editing, that is just really nice for me. That I can edit that kind of stuff out because I can just take a long time being not happy with something and constantly want to try to change something and try different things. I'm kind of the person that needs to try everything until I can decide what I really want. So what you see here is just the final result. This is probably the reason that I'm not really comfortable with building in real time, because I'm just really slow and that wouldn't be a lot of fun to watch. I just care a lot about what I build, and I want it to be something that I'm just really happy with. So just adding a few lights now, and I really love the new 2 lights that we have, sort of the new spotlights. They are just so bright. You don't really need to add a lot of lights anymore to get the place well lit up, so that is really positive, because that was just a little bit of a hassle. Yeah, these lights are just amazing. But that is it for the main building, and now we're just gonna work on the queue line and the exit. This was kind of the biggest reason why I struggled so much with this build, is because at first I thought I wanted the queue line to be inside of the building, but that didn't look good at all. Like I said, it was too bulky, it was too big, and it covered up too much of the radius, and that's not what I was looking for at all. The effect that I was looking for is when you walk inside of the park, you see this first right immediately. This needed to be a point that really stood out, so I didn't want to cover up too much of it. I will put in some floors, because at the same time, I also felt like this should be a structure and not as much just on top of grass. So we're just gonna put in the floors, and that will give us a shape to work with. I will place some of these rounded roof moldings as fences, and yeah, we get a really nice shape that we can decorate around. I haven't even checked the scenery rating yet for the ride. It's probably not something I need to worry about too much, because I always decorate everything. I don't think you need to do that much to get a 100% scenery rating, but I should probably check anyways. And oh, I think I forgot something. I should probably add another entertainment point in the main street, so we can have Chief Beef and Cosmic Cow running around over here. We will have themed areas, of course, so there will be mascots for every separate area. So I think that's gonna be pretty cool to do over there. I'm also thinking to maybe drop the idea of doing pirates for a whole separate area. I think that I could combine that with the fantasy area. I think I can make the fantasy area probably pretty big and add a pirate section to it, because I already made a full pirate park, and at this point I'm not really excited to just make another full area for pirates. So I think it might be good to have a pirate section within the fantasy area. So that would mean I would make 3 gates: Western, fantasy, and sci-fi, and I think I can go all out for those 3, and that's the feeling I kind of need to have, is that I can go all out. And for pirates, I don't feel like that. I've already used that style, and I do a lot of modular building, so I would have to repeat a lot that I already did. And yeah, that is something that I'm not really excited for at this point, but I bet I can think of something cool within the fantasy area to do with pirates. This episode is a bit shorter. Some of you might think that is nice, but I wanted to do so much more. I had plans to do 2 episodes, choose the name, make the gates, and yeah, I just didn't get to it because this week was just a lot got in the way, let me say it like that. But I will still try to see if I can make a shorter episodes, maybe just for the gates or something. I want to do something, I want to start the themed areas next week. That would be my ideal plan, but I don't know if that's gonna work out. I got some really nice comments of you guys as well. Some of you just said that you wanted more, and that is amazing to hear. I would love to do more and show you guys more. That is also the reason that I set less strict rules for myself for this series, that I said that whenever I can, I will bring an extra episode out in the week and do more, but it doesn't always work out like that, because just life continues on, and no matter how bad I would want to do this all day, every day, that is just not possible. But we will do some terraforming in this episode, just a little bit at the end. I will create a rough shape for the mountain where the gates will go through, and I will create a lake, and you will just start to see how this is all gonna look and what the plan was. I'm really excited for this because this is the plan that I had originally. This is what made me start this park, and the main street is just something that needs to be done before you can get to that point. I really like to set up the start of your park though, because it gives you a nice amount of time to think about what you want to do for the rest of the park, and you can just kind of work out all of the plans in your head, which I really like. So yeah, I'm just excited to get there. Just wrapping up here, just fill in some space with these amazing looking rocks. I'm so in love with these alpine rocks, they just look great. If you don't know what to do with some space you have left over, adding some of these rocks and bushes is just a perfect way to fill it all in and make it feel like it's complete. I don't have any shots for you at the end of the episode. I kind of had to rush this a little bit to get it out in time, so I'm sorry for that. But next episode we're just gonna start making the gates, and I hope that won't be a full episode because that would be kind of crazy for just making some gates. We'll still have to do a lot of terraforming, of course, but I can do some of it off screen to make it all perfect. But we'll do a real-time part in the next episode as well, and place another entertainment point down and just wrap everything up for the main street. I still kind of have the feeling that I want to start with the western area, but I don't want to decide until I start making these gates and get a feel for the styles. So yeah, just creating the rough layout for the mountain over here, and it needs to be pretty big because I don't want the radius to be seen from the other areas because it's supposed to represent dimensions, so that wouldn't be right. I think I might have to lower down the ground behind the mountain over here so you won't see it at all. But that is it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like if you want to support this series. Let me know that you like it, leave a comment, it's always welcome, and I will see you on the next one.